The featured tag match at Clash of Champions was billed as Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn taking on Randy Orton and Shinsuke Nakamura, with Owens and Zayn's careers on the line. When the dust settled on the match, it was clear that it had nothing to do with the competitors, and instead was all about what happened between Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon. Most of the story in the match revolved around the fact that there were two refs in the ring with very different motives. Shane McMahon clearly was just a ref because he wanted to make sure that he had the opportunity to fire Owens and Zayn at the end of the night. Daniel Bryan on the other hand simply wanted to see a fair match. Those two motives butted heads as the match progressed. At first, it was simply figuring out the kinks of how two refs in the same match would work. But as the match progressed, Shane became more and more biased. At one point, it seemed like Randy Orton was about to get a pin as he RKO'd Zayn. However, when Owens tried to break up the pin, he ran into Bryan, who fell into Shane before he could count 3. Shortly after, Orton and Zayn exchanged roll-ups, as the two refs took turns counting. However, Zayn rolled up Orton tightly, Shane counted, but despite clearly having him down, Shane refused to make the third count. This upset Bryan, and when Zayn once again rolled up Orton, Bryan made a quick count to give Zayn and Owens the win. To answer the first obvious question, no, I do not believe this was a heel turn for Daniel Bryan. The match was crafted very carefully to make it show that Daniel Bryan was in the right, at least morally. Shane McMahon openly screwed Zayn and Owens out of winning the match, and Bryan was simply trying to correct that. It was no different from a face using the tights to win a match right after a heel tried the same tactic on him. If the idea was to make Bryan a heel, then they would have done it in a very different way. If anything, I think this might be pushing towards Shane becoming more and more like his father, and Daniel Bryan having to step into the ring to stop him. Which brings me to my next point, Daniel Bryan took a bump in this match. Yes, it was a very weak one, and was just about the safest bump possible. But it was a bump, the first bump of any type that he has taken since he had to retire. It's hard to see that without envisioning the possibility of him stepping back into the ring. He's been open about how badly he wants to get back in the ring. He's even said that if it's not in WWE, he'd go elsewhere when his contract expires in order to wrestle again. It's certainly no guarantee that this is going to lead to a match in WWE, say, at WrestleMania in New Orleans where the biggest moment of his career happened. However, this is certainly a step in that direction. Bryan Danielson, better known by his WWE nom de guerre Daniel Bryan, was an authentic man in an inauthentic world. Fans recognized his sublime skill and his earnest will to apply it, and as such, they essentially strong-armed a reluctant company into giving Danielson the biggest win on the biggest. Bryan Danielson, better known by his WWE nom de guerre Daniel Bryan, was an authentic man in an inauthentic world.